So like,
Because
it's extremely productive.
driving tired is like always a good idea.
Well, I'm not driving. I'm not driving the car. So.
I'm sorry,
But I
my
have to be
orders
in a
are
car that is going in
The
that
Lion
direction.
Guard is here to crush Scarlet's minions and derail their plans. The Nightmare Court holds
Oh,
part
the
of
lag.
this facility, but they're not our problem. Our
We're doing up.
objective is the Acre Zones. We've got a large strike
Say
force standing
TA,
by.
I heard cough.
This security system is damn near impenetrable.
Yeah.
I need
Fire her,
volunteers
right.
to go in and shut down the power. The full Lion Guard contingent.
That's
will
just
storm
an
the
old
facility.
thing, old man
Interested?
thing to say.
No, I'm trying to think of where did I hear that from.
I have personal business here that takes
The old
precedence.
folks home?
If you can help me achieve your goals, I will.
I'm just convinced, Sam, that you just hang out with like 80-year-olds.
Hey guys, VG Sav here, and this is the Twilight Arbor up path.
Oh, we know the Guardian.
You might, so you
Both
might-
the up and forward path both start pretty much the same way. Technically, I think forwards actually would be considered like path 1, and up would be considered path 2. However, I'm doing up first. Up's a little bit easier, actually quite a bit easier
Peace out.
than
This is the first time I've ever gotten
forward.
worms in the beginning.
No, forward's not really difficult either. But we decided to do up first. So, as soon as our party gets all together here, we will get underway, and I'll walk you through it from there.
Look, guys. I didn't remember first look at
Careful.
anywhere in this game.
Oh, keep going.
I'll do it.
Okay, so for this beginning run part here, it helps to have a guardian with staff. It's probably the only time you will ever hear me say that ever, is that a guardian with a staff is actually very useful here. Also, a thief with SR is very useful as well, and the guardian just decided he wanted to yellow Leroy Jenkins the whole thing without my SR stealth abilities. However, thief is really good for that too. There's a bunch of volatile blossoms that really they don't take a lot of damage to kill them, but they can pump out a lot of poison damage in their green clouds there. So you want to kill them before you run through their poison clouds. That way they don't kill you. Makes the run a lot easier if you kill them.
You know, the thing is,
There's also some dogs or whatever there, wolves or whatever, and then at the end of that there's husks. Both the wolves and the husks can knock you down, so it's good to have stability. Again, good to have the guardian for the stability, or just thief with stealth so that they can't see you and they won't attack you.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Anyway.
So after that run, that spot we were just standing in the whole time is the place you want to stack and wait for the whole party to get there. Once the whole party's there, everybody's out of combat and recovered their health, you want to jump down here and start fighting these worms. There's also going to be the volatile blossoms down here, so again, the guardian with the staff is useful in taking down those volatile blossoms while you're fighting the worms. Worms pop in pretty much the same order. You want to fight them one at a time. At the end, there's going to be a very large worm that's going to pop up. That's actually going to be the boss, and that's the one you want to take down. You want to focus on at that point. There will be one or two smaller ones up at the same time, but you want to basically just ignore them and go after the big guy. You'll see when that happens. They drop a lot of poison. All those little AoE circles are little poison whatever, and they're really not that hard to avoid. It looks like it's hard to avoid, but it's really not actually that difficult to avoid. Just kind of take your time and walk around it, and you'll be okay. They usually focus on one side, and the other side usually you can get away with standing and not worrying about the poison too much. So after killing about, I think it's 4 worms, the big worm spawns, and you kill him. Again, he does the same thing with the poison clouds, or the poison AoE. Just like I said, just avoid it. When he gets closer to the end of his, closer to the end, he starts doing a lot more of the poison, so it can get a little overwhelming towards the end. However, we're doing a really good job of just really DPSing him down here, and it's really not. It never really became that much of an issue, but towards the end there, he can drop a lot of that poison AoE, so it does become a little difficult to stay alive.
Like
After that is actually where we're going to switch. We're going to pick the path now. We actually have not picked the path yet. We're going to pick up or forward at this point, and this door up here is the up path. What? No, that's not what I was doing. Why is my skill so weird?
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
They also probably rally if you do.
Okay, so we got into kind of a screwy situation there. Normally, after we enter that door, we stack right in this spot here. There's 3 spiders initially that you have to fight, and you stack right here and you fight them. There's also a bunch of stacks of spiders in that room ahead of us there. What happened is I used my F1 skill on the thief, which is steal, which is where I shadow step to an enemy. However, I wasn't targeting on an enemy, so I just kind of shadow stepped to a random enemy, which happened to be out in that room, and I ended up pulling more spiders in. We do want to do that, but I did it a little out of order. You kind of want to just take your time and do it, because these spiders can petrify you, they can poison you, and if you get too much of them together, they can wipe your party. You kind of want to just take your time and just pull one stack of spiders at a time, kill them all here, and once they're all down, we'll enter that room and fight the boss.
But that's just because nobody else plays Ranger.
Yeah,
I play Ranger.
I have never seen
this is true.
Ranger,
You don't notice it. You
Ranger
don't.
isn't good.
You notice and you don't notice him. Ranger is very similar to Thief. You only notice the bad ones. Right, Sam?
You didn't notice me yet. Here comes the thief.
Oh, we noticed your Ranger.
Okay, so this boss, in all honesty, is a pain in the ass. One of the hardest bosses in kind of any path of the dungeons that I've showed you so far. Even at level 80, I've been in parties with all level 80s, and we've wiped on this boss. This boss has again poison clouds that he shoots in the AOE circles. There's like 5 or 6 AOE circles that'll pop up, and they pop up quickly, and poison gets there quickly, and the poison can insta down you. And there's almost no tell, and there's almost no warning. So when it happens, if you're in the AOE circle, you need to get out immediately, and if you don't, you are probably going to go down. And if you go down, a lot of times it can be hard to res you, and you're probably going to die, especially if you're under level 80. It's funny that I had mentioned that forward path is actually harder than this path, but really, this is really the only hard part of this dungeon. And most people will just range this boss. And if you range him, he can be relatively a lot easier than trying to melee him. He's a lot easier to range than melee. He's going to take a lot longer if you range him, but if everybody in your party is ranging him, chances are you will succeed. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But do be aware. I mean, look, I had absolutely no time to react to that AoE cloud, and I'm dead. I'm down. I'm not dead yet, but nobody's going to pick me up, so I might end up dying here. Just range him. Take your time. You'll get through it. And, when you get to level 80 and you get more advanced at this dungeon, I have gotten to the point now where I can melee this boss. However, for my suggestion for people just starting out, don't melee, just do the range. Just do range, and eventually you will kill this guy.
Going ham, motherfuckers!
Oh, my explosion killed her, and I rallied with no life left. Except I'm gonna die from poison. Fix it.
There may have been a use my Assassin's Signet Heartseeker spam in there. May have happened. It actually happened.
So after that boss, there's the second of 3 large runs in this dungeon. Again with the Volatile Blossoms. Again, a Guardian with a staff will be useful. Again, SR is very useful. This time after the Volatile Blossoms, we'll have a couple worms will pop up. They're really not too difficult to just run around and avoid. However, after that is a bunch of spiders, and the spiders can be a little tricky. Again, they can cripple you, they can petrify you, they can poison you. And if you don't, you basically just want to run around them. Especially if you're out of SR at that point, which we were there, just run past them. If they get you, they get you. If you have to rerun it, rerun it. They're not overly difficult to avoid, but if they do hit you, you may not make the run. No big deal if you don't. I see a lot of 80s that don't make that run all the time. So as a beginner, you may find it a little difficult. But just keep at it. You'll get by. You'll get through. Best thief in the guild is here to help you, buddy.
There. Target identified.
Oh, I got 2 young grasshoppers.
And I've come back around this corner. She's gonna knock you down.
Oh,
Does
fuck.
it to me all the time.
Retreat.
Oh, he did not. He just auto-attacked. No!
Or get your waypoint.
Not me, him. Okay, so I was attempting to help that Guardian get back to this part. Everybody else started this battle with the... it's actually a Savari woman that turns into a spider form. When she's in her Savari woman form, she has a longbow, it's reflectable. Other than that, she really doesn't have any major attacks that I'm aware of. And then she turns into this spider form. Again, no real major attacks I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure she's just melees as this spider. I mean, it can hurt you if she hits you, but I don't. It's really not that difficult. She just kind of makes herself a really large hitbox, and Ice Bow's just absolutely decimate her. You want to pull her back there. She actually spawns right here where I was just standing. You don't want to fight her in this room because of all these little spider eggs. If any of those spider eggs start popping, you'll have a bunch of little spiders on you. It can make the battle a lot more difficult. So you want to pull her back into that tunnel we were standing in and fight her there.
I'll do it.
Again, this part here, it's the 3rd run of the game. We'll start again with the Volatile Blossoms. Again, Guardian with Staff, Invisibility will help tremendously. The Volatile Blossom, once you get past the Volatile Blossoms, this time there's Twilight, there's Nightmare Court. You want to, if you're invisible, obviously it's not a big deal, you just run right past them. If you're not invisible, they're actually standing with the Volatile Blossoms here, so you can get poisoned and they'll shoot you and cripple you, and you can go down at that part. I've gone down there, I've seen people go down there. Actually, the Guardian that we were running with went down there. We decided to wait for the Guardian for a minute there, and he still couldn't make it, so we're going to go ahead on without him and 4-man from here. This part right here, we stack behind this tree, and there's an Elite and a Guardian that we're going to fight. We want to focus on the Elite first, although the Champion hits like a house, so you want to kind of hurry up and get rid of that Elite, because he actually hits hard too, but the Champion is a real problem here. But take out the Elite first, so you don't have to worry about him, and you guys can all focus on the Champion. And once that's done, it's not overly difficult. Again, just be aware that this Champion can hit really hard.
Yeah, blinding him's useless as a champ. Well, not completely, but it diminishes it to 10% chance.
Yeah, it's tantamount to useless. Oh, I got the wrong info.
I just hit him for 7,000 damage. Nothing special, just 7,000. That backstab from stealth is so good.
Leave me alone.
I don't know what you're putting down to give me all these fire orbs around me, but I kind of like it. I don't know how I'm getting them so frequently.
If you leap through them with your rifle.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Hold on. Let him.
I know.
There you go.
I could outrun a
Yeah,
centaur.
it's a if you leap through a fire field or a water field.
Because I have 2 leaps in my rotation, I have a third.
Fool, do you have a wall?
I can, yes.
Please.
Well, we
I
have
don't
a
have
guardian. We don't trust him, do we?
Okay, so this is the final boss of the dungeon. The Nightmare Tree.
I was like moving too.
The trick to the Nightmare Tree is you want to hit him in the butt. You basically want to go up behind him and melee him from behind. You can't crit this Nightmare Tree, so he can take a little bit of time to get through.
Mine's up.
He has a huge hitbox again for ice bows, so if you have an elemental with ice bows, drop the ice bows on his head. He can do some AoE attack behind him that can insta-down you, so if you do see the AoE circles, get the heck out of the way. It also helps to have any kind of reflex or projectile destroyers, because some nightmare pods will pop and start throwing seeds and stuff your way, and if they hit you, they hurt. So you want to kind of reflect them back. As you can see, I'm going down by them right now. You don't want to really focus on them though. If you have your reflex and stuff, like you have a Mesmer feedback or a Guardian with his wall or shield, they will usually take care of that, and you just put that down, and there's no problem from there. Other than that, just melee him in the butt. If you hit him, if you do fight him in the front, he does have a big attack that can, with a big melee attack where he kind of pounds his fist on the ground and it can insta down your party. But you can also get double damage if you fight him in the front. So we can actually get, if you stand in just the right spot, you can actually avoid both the front attack and back attacks and get double damage. I was kind of getting it right there, but however, you still are susceptible to the AoE and the Nightmare Pods. So you're not completely invulnerable to the damage here. Anyway, just melee him down, and once he's done, the dungeon's over, and you've completed Twilight Arbor up.
Alright, hop in the swiftness. Swiftness makes the difference.
Heart Seeker spam.
Oh, I went down after I killed the thing.
Just real quick, when this boss is dead, those sea turrets do not despawn, so get out as soon as you can to avoid this up down res and so forth. It can be a little bit of an annoyance, so just get out as soon as the dungeon is complete. Just a final thought here, this is definitely a dungeon you could do at level 55. It is not very difficult. There's the one difficult boss battle, but as long as you're ranging, you should be fine. The runs are a little bit of a pain if you don't have a guardian or thief and know what they're doing, so you kind of want to make sure that in your party you have at least a semi-competent thief or guardian. That's the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.